shorts. I wear shorts around my house, okay? Who wears short shorts? Anyway, how are you all doing tonight? I actually just wanted to jump on here and just introduce myself and say thank you all. This is an amazing community. I really love to connect. I'm all about food. I'm a true foodie, like you have no idea. Truly, life is good and you should be having fun with your food. And you know what? You should be in a good state, a happy state. You should dance when you feel like dancing. And if you don't feel like dancing and you feel like you're in a funk, that's all the more reason to dance. So, I'm here in my kitchen. I thought I'd get in here. I have been on this amazing journey of healing my body, my mind, and my soul. And you know what started it? It was my body telling me I was out of alignment. And then it was a result of my body and my mind not being connected. My mind was really racing and my body was freaking out and tensing up as a result, right? So, I like to make amazing, raw, delicious treats. And yes, I made a special pie the other day. But before I even get there, to that delicious, ridiculous pie, the pie in the sky, made with bananas and cream and nuts. Oh my. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, and you know what? My hair comes down really low, comes down past my butt. I teach Kundalini Yoga. I believe in the power of, our hair is an extension of our energy. I believe that our hair is like our antennae, right? And we pick up all the vibrations and the energies around us. And that's how I feel about my food. I want my food to be live. I want living enzymes. I want to consume foods that are vibrant. They're still alive as much as possible, right? The last time I cut my hair was about a year ago, and actually had about 8 plus, maybe 10 inches of it cut off, believe it or not. So I've never truly let it just keep on growing. I mean, I did go a couple years, but I even still had to trim because I have a girlfriend who insisted on cutting it that much last year. She wanted to color it. I let her do it. And first she wanted me to go blonde because I've been blonde before. And I'm like, no, that's so damaging on my hair. And I don't like chemicals in my hair. I'm really super sensitive about what I put in my hair, what I put on my skin. If you can't eat it, you shouldn't put it on your skin, right? Because ultimately your skin is your largest living, breathing organ, correct? And so it's all about the power of the plants, baby, right? So I try to nourish my body with whatever I would eat. And just, topically, if I won't eat it, why would I put it on my skin? It takes less 26 seconds to enter the blood, right? So it goes into the bloodstream, and it's as if you ate it, but quicker. So, I'm very selective. If y'all have used any particular hair products, please let me know. But I have some myself. Right now I'm using something called Alafia. And I love the smell of the shampoo. It's a neem shampoo, and it has the most delicious fragrance to it. And neem is especially beneficial. You can use neem oils for things like healing, like around your gums, right? You can use it for bugs. I have a neem powder, which I need to use around my house, but also diatomaceous earth is good for that, for bugs around the house. And coconut, I'm still kind of playing with coconut oil because sometimes I'll put it in my hair, which I did earlier, and I swear it just doesn't seem to get the full nourishment. And I don't know if it's because that time of year here in Florida where we're between seasons and it's less humidity. Right now, especially, it was a lot colder, so it seems like it's drying out a little bit more. But I like to nourish my hair and put a whole lot of love and care. I don't wash it all the time. I can go 10 days without washing my hair. So I have this Alafia brand, and it's neem. It's got reishi mushroom in it, and I think it has rosemary because it has that fragrance, and it's kind of minty-ish. And it just I continue to smell it even after I've conditioned it with a different shampoo conditioner blend. I mean, it's not the neem conditioner. It's actually this coconut reishi conditioner, and it still smells like the neem, and I love it. I'm so grateful because I really, really like this smell. And so, yeah, that's what I do with my hair. It is a process. It takes me a good 20 minutes to wash my hair fully and to get my fingers through it. Anybody else? You know, my hair doesn't have an issue with greasiness as much as it has an issue with dry and like brittle, right? That's been the only thing. I have fine hair. It must be the European, you know, part French, Portuguese, Irish, German. Parlo un po' di italiano anche. Abitavo in Napoli per più di 10 anni. I lived in Naples, Italy for over 10 years. And so, yeah, I've been exposed to all sorts of different environments. And I had to recognize this whole thing about, wow, food can be utilized as your medicine versus using all these chemicals, right? And that's the beauty of this group, right? So we're trying to do the most pure form of living, right? Oh, Ontario, Canada. I used to live up near the border of New Brunswick in Houlton, Maine when I was growing up. It gets really cold up there. And my house was, I remember the fields and being like barren and the wind cutting through your clothes and through your skin. I would be dying. I'd be freezing, but yet, you know what, back then, I'll be honest, I had this vanity thing with my hair. I didn't want to mess up with my hair, so I didn't want to put a hat on it. These days, I'll put a hat on my head if it keeps me warm. But I live in Florida for a reason, right? And I'm the same way. I prefer the natural oils of my scalp, and so I don't over condition or over shampoo. I will brush it out. If I need a little bit of moisturizer, I put in the coconut oil. And try to brush it out as much as possible. The longer it is, and especially in the wind for me, it tangles, it gets caught. You see how long it is. Just work up a sweat living in Florida and it's up underneath your armpits. I'm just saying, that's how it is. This is real, right? This is just who I am, and I'm just like, I'm going, oh, we don't want that. Hair stuck in my pits with sweat. It happens. It just is what it is. And so, oh, it's snowing. You know, I do remember one thing I loved about being up in the snow. The snow makes you feel insulated and warmer, whereas if it's wet, it makes you feel colder, right? And especially, it might be a little harder to stay 100% raw in that case, right? Yeah, I agree. I don't have to wash my hair as much. When I started eating more plant-based, I really just noticed everything was so much better. My skin, anybody else out there? The skin, oh my gosh. For the gluten allergies that I had, I used to have all these breakouts. I stay away from soy because soy will immediately break out here in my body. Like, it totally messes with my adrenals, and I'll get like, I know when I've had food contamination because my skin is the first place I notice it. And if I have a contamination of even a trace amount of gluten, I get a rash, I get bloated, I'm constipated for like who knows how long it takes for our digestive tract and the cilia to burn, because it gets burned away. So the cilia has to be renourished and grow back. I do take a B12 supplement. I personally like this particular brand. It's called Pharmaceutical Research Labs. And it totally, my skin too is so much better. I used to break out. I'm breaking out now, but I'm starting my moon cycle, so I know that that's what this is. And sometimes when I eat, I notice it's a reaction to the hormones, and I think it's that imbalance of taking too much of something so that your body's already balancing out for that time of your cycle, and you need to kind of take it down a notch and allow your body to heal, right? This is one of the reasons I love to fast. I intermittent fast up until 1 to 3. Sometimes I'll eat later. I find I eat so much less these days than I did when I first started out. When I first transitioned to Whole Foods plant-based myself, I found I was eating and I had a voracious appetite beforehand. Like, I was the meat eater, can't get rid of my filet mignon and my butter. Well, eventually that just fell off my plate. So for me, when I transitioned, I was trying everything. I burnt out 2 Oster blenders, right? 2 Oster blenders. And my dad's like, I eventually invested in my Blendtec. And it was the best investment. It's probably the one that was most worth the money because I use that thing all the time. That and a food processor. Those are my 2 staples in my kitchen. And my first smoothies were what I called everything but the kitchen sink. And maybe the kitchen sink was slightly in there. and they were horrible because it didn't masticate like you need, like the kale or the dandelion or the really hardy greens that you really want to break that cell membrane down so that you're not stuck with the oxalates. Those are the things that keep from being digested in your body. It's an enzyme inhibitor, right? And so especially with people with thyroid problems, the last thing you need is something that's a high oxalate. That, I hope I'm saying that word right, because sometimes my mouth gets a little faster than my brain. So pardon me if I'm speaking a little faster than I need to be speaking. I just get so excited and I have so much I love to share that sometimes I go a little overboard, right? So I have to remind myself to breathe, be in the moment, be right here, right now, not in a rush. You don't have to be anywhere. I started out, so I found this restaurant, and it was around the time I found out I was allergic to gluten and the wheat especially. I had already pretty much eliminated soy from my diet. I just find that it's a processed food, and I never really liked the taste of it, and I was lying to myself when I did think I was okay with it, because it messes with our thyroid and our whole, personally, I personally don't like it. You like it, you got to listen to your body, and you got to go on that journey for yourself. But I also know that my grandmother, who was a nurse, she was a very health conscious woman, and before she was diagnosed with cancer, it seemed like she had introduced soy into her diet, and she was pretty darn clean, with the exception of some things that we are only learning these days are not so healthy. I find that the soy was really bad back then, and we didn't know about the whole GMO and all the stuff they were doing. So, you know what? When I first transitioned to plant-based whole foods and this raw eating, it was, okay, so it's been since, my ear just popped. Interesting. It's been since the February of 2010. So it's been a good 7.5 years that I transitioned, and I had to kind of trace my own personal food, like when I was eating meat, I really went down that rabbit hole, and I learned that, oh my gosh, if I'm allergic to gluten, if I'm allergic to wheat, if I'm not, soy is an issue for me, or dairy is an issue for me. When I eat meat, that means I have to look at what it's eating, because I'm getting it like secondhand smoke. And so it wasn't that I wanted to give up the meat, it's that I looked at the animals and said, and honestly for me, a lot of people out there go vegan because of animals' rights and cruelty and all that. It really wasn't my first thought. It was an afterthought long after. It was more like, oh my gosh, if I'm eating that animal, what's it eating and passing on to me? And I don't know, everybody finds their way along their journey and a different path. We're not all going to get to the same location and the same footpath or bicycle path or, car ride, whatever you want to call it. We're all taking a different route, but we all have ultimately the same goal, right? Oh yeah, meal plan to keep yourself on a plant-based. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Bless your heart, Alicia. Seriously, pregnant and doing that, that's awesome. That is awesome. I tell you what, if I were pregnant, I would be excited about all of the ways I could nourish my body, and how I would, the idea that now I'm so clean, if that would ever happen, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like the first generation of my family to be plant-based. How cool would that be? Good for you. Oh my gosh. I know my sister, when she first was pregnant, she's a serious research hound like myself. And so for her, right now she's got 2 children that are much more grown. So it's really rad to see that she's, looking into homeschooling, and she's really into the vaccination, against vaccination, all that stuff. So that's an awesome route to be really researching. And I could go on that train another time. But there's so many amazing things that I learned in my own personal journey. And I supplement. I personally didn't lose a lot of weight in the beginning. I was still eating a lot. I've always eaten a lot, and I was never really heavy. I found that I felt cleaner, not so much skinny. And because I've always had a high metabolism, I've always been a voracious eater. Friends of mine used to tell me when I was eating the SAD diet, and I was fortunate because a lot of my SAD diet was in Europe in Mediterranean cooking, so I was eating the best of the best and living abroad and eating in Michelin-rated restaurants. And of course, back then I used to drink wine and everything, which I no longer do as well. And then we could go on that train, right? That's a whole nother story. But I found that I was eating these 8-course meals and these huge meals, and everybody would look over and go, where the heck does she put it? And I just would smile like I was proud of the amount of food I could put away. Because people would be like, she's got a hollow leg. I had an Italian boyfriend. He used to say, oh my gosh, it's cheaper to take her shopping than it is to take her for dinner. But that was a compliment coming from him. And actually, we were both very much into the food. And so we always ate primo top, right? And so, I am very proud of the amount of food I can put away, right? But as far as, you know what? I stay away from beans sometimes because I find they give me like gas. It's crazy, right? And especially because they're not raw, and sprouting the different nuts and seeds in this raw community, you know that when you start sprouting, it eliminates the gas. So the cool thing is if you soak it with kombu, the algae, the seaweed, will actually draw out any type of enzyme inhibitors, right? What's the word? They're oh, I forgot the word. Oh my gosh, pardon me. I'm really good at this. I just think I've had a very long day. And I got so excited about sharing information with y'all and getting to know you and sharing about myself that now the words are going. So, going to the bathroom all day. I mean, really, yes, phytoestrogens. Thank you, Judith. That was exactly what was on the tip of my tongue, but it wasn't coming out. And it's beautiful to recognize when you start tapping into your body's wisdom, how it's like, wow, I see how this affects me now. And not only that, but you'll also notice how the mind affects what you eat and how the food affects how you think. It's like this interesting dynamic, mind-body connection. That's one of the things I think is the most amazing about transitioning. So for me, I like to make my own foods, and I prepare them with love from my heart. And yeah, I don't think I'm the only one, but I'm constantly learning, and I want to share more with all of you. I do eat as much organic and local produce as I possibly can, but here in Florida, a lot of food has to be shipped in, especially in the summertime. We have some amazing local farmers markets here, like down in Seminole and Pinellas Park and Tampa. And I have made some amazing contacts at our local farmers market. Asians, Hispanics, from all over the world. They're beautiful, beautiful people. I have my own special jackfruit king too. Have y'all had a jackfruit? Oh my gosh, I'll have to come on here live with the jackfruit. That's an experience in itself. This thing, it's the largest fruit-bearing tree. It's the fruit gets to be the heaviest of any other tree out there. And a lot of people will think it's the same as durian. Sweet dreams, Alicia. Have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you. Jake, is it possible to share this? I don't know. I don't know if you can share these videos in here. But truly, like jackfruit, it looks similar to durian, but I think the durian looks a little like bigger, like spikier. I don't know. I've never had it. Dragon fruit. OMG. I had some in my freezer because they were just in season. I don't know if you can still find them. My favorite are the red ones. But the white are good too. And I make this amazing smoothie with it. Oh, the colors are so vibrant. And for me, when I prepare my food, it has so much love infused in it that it's like, to me, I can feel even more. And I bless my food. And I take my time and I really want to savor it. And so a lot of times, I have to remind myself to just take it all in, get excited, because I get excited about food if you couldn't tell. It's my passion. So yeah, one of these days maybe I'll come on here with jackfruit. But meanwhile, I just wanted to say hi, and I realized there's just so much I could talk about that I'm going to have to come on here again. And I hope you just enjoyed this little intro. And I'll dance again too, and somebody's got to come on and dance with me. So that would be really rad too. I hope you all have an amazing evening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you really like it, please reach out to me, friend me. I'm like open, you know, I'm all about spreading the love. And that's really what I'm here for, is I want to share and learn, because there's so much I still have to learn. I'm always learning about something new. And yeah, share anything that you find, you know, write down in the video or something. I guess there's the comments, and you can, you know, reach out to me that way or in a message or whatever. Because then if you have something that maybe I haven't tried, or maybe something I mentioned on here that's curious for you too, that would be really cool. So you have an amazing evening. I really enjoyed this, and thank you, Raw Till whenever. Mwah! Have an amazing evening. Good night and God bless.